שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. תודה בורא עולם.
Shalom, everyone. I am the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon. Welcome to my whole channel. I have another special guest with me today. I have one of my senior chief disciples in Israel, who you all know as Hadar. And, we want to go over a really super crazy, explosive, Frankist passage in the Megaleh Amukoth, a very sublime Qabbalistic work that we have we've referenced, I think, in some other videos we've done together, I believe. But this is a really super crazy, explosive Frankist passage, which I think is one of a number of proofs that can be used to prove that the Megaleh Amukoth was probably, a crypto, very secret Christian, operating at the Frankist level. Again, this is just one more seal of, that I am the Chief Magician of Mystery Babylon, because I cover throughout my blog and throughout my YouTube channel, I cover a lot of very esoteric subjects that seem to be unknown to a lot of the leading scholars in Israel, which just goes to show how inferior many of the scholars in Israel are when compared to me. But anyways, let's get into the essence of the matter here. I'm going to kick it off to my chief disciple Hadar.
Okay, so we're going to look to this passage from the Megaleh Amukoth. It is written on the later part of his 81st comment in Megaleh Amukoth and Vet Hanan, which is a commentary of the Megaleh Amukoth on a specific verse in the book of Deuteronomy. And he gives you one of the interpretations that he gives here of the third chapter of Deuteronomy. He talks about how Moses was not allowed to come into the land of Israel, and then the Lord tells him to charge Joshua and strengthen him and encourage him, because Joshua is the one who enters into the land of Israel. Now, the passage here, we're going to elaborate on this passage and what it says in the coming slides, but here basically the Megaleh Amukoth rules here that the word "but charge" or charge Joshua, in charge Joshua, the word for charging tzav equals in gematria the word soah, which means in Talmudic Hebrew it means filth or excretion. Now he says that because he equates here Joshua with, he says that Joshua in his coming appearances in Israel, he will be punished with the extraction or the filth, because he made him out of himself an idol. This is what the Megaleh Amukoth says on the explicit simple level, that Joshua went on to, Joshua is the type of Jesus, the Talmudic Jesus, who made, according to the Talmud and the rabbins, he made an idol out of himself, and he was punished for that with tzoah, with filth, with boiling filth, which is what the Megaleh Amukoth says that Joshua was charged with in this passage. Now, this is a verse from the Deuteronomy, third chapter of Deuteronomy, but charge Joshua and encourage him and strengthen him. Now, the Megaleh Amukoth shows you the encryptions in that verse, and these are the encryptions. The word "vetzav," which means "but charge," but charge Joshua, it equals 102, which is a very important number, and it equals tzoah, it equals filth or excretion. And the number 102 is also it is a very powerful number. It equals, for example, emunah, which means faith. it equals kav, kuf bet, which means crotch on which the legless one stands. And basically, it also has to do with the place of filth, which is the privy on the literal level, but on the implicit level, it represents Egypt, which is called in rabbinic literature the place of filth. Now, the other code in that verse is that and encourage him and strengthen him, equals in Gematria 280, which is also a very important number. It equals, for example, what the Megaleh Amukoth brings to you here is that it equals Ruach HaTumah, the unclean spirit, which is what, according to the Megaleh Amukoth, Moses wanted to extinguish from the earth. Now, he creates here an antagonistic relation between Moses and Joshua, which is the same antagonistic relation between Mosaic law and the Christian gospel. Yeah. So basically, this antagonistic relation that is usually where Moses and Jesus are contrasted. Now the Megaleh Amukoth says that it boils back to Joshua, who was, according to Megaleh Amukoth, the type of Christ. And now the number 280, and the one is a very important number. It represents, according to Megaleh Amukoth, it represents the 280 judgments of the Lord, why there are 280 judgments? Because they are the most exterior part of the divine mechanism. 280 equals all the 5 final letters in the Hebrew alphabet combined. Mem, Tzadi, Nun, Pev, and Chaf. All of those 5 letters are the letters in the Hebrew alphabet that have final forms. Yeah, that they are put in the ending of the word. And they have a peculiar form for being put at the ending of the word. And the 280 also equals thighs, which means thighs, which usually refers to the exterior or inferior part of the body. Yeah. Now, 280 is also it's also like 102. On the literal level, the 102 equals soah, which is filth, and 280 equals things like hara'ah, which is the evil in Jeremiah. First chapter, the evil shall break forth from the north. But those numbers also encrypt concealed holy aspects. For example, 280 equals 4 times 70, which is the 4 banners of Israel multiplied by the 70 souls that come out of Jacob's thigh in the first chapter of Exodus. And 280 also equals the name of Sandal, which is an angel, who is considered to be to some extent an angel that assumes a macrocosmic function. In Sandal is usually seen as the occulted. The after Elijah went up to the heavens, he transformed into Sandal. And Metat is Enoch. So
I'm sorry, Hadar. Let's rewind a little bit here so that we can fully understand the implications and ramifications of the passage. So initially, the Baal Megaleh Amukoth, he relates this verse in the Torah of Yod He Vav He charging Yehoshua. He relates that verse to a passage in the Talmud where it is taught that when anywhere in the Torah where it says and charge him or command him, this is in reference to Avodah Zarah or idol worship, right? Do you recall what Talmudic passage he is referring to by any chance?
What?
Do you know what Talmudic passage he's referring to when he said?
1857.
Which one?
1859. Sorry, 1859.
1859. Okay, so that's where Chazal basically teach that anywhere in the Torah where it is said and charge him or command him, that anytime you see this phrasing in the Torah, it's a reference to Avodah Zarah. And very interestingly, this is where it gets a little bit explosive, is that basically, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Hadar, the Baal Megaleh Amukoth is essentially accusing, when he says this in the passage, he is essentially accusing Yehoshua of idol worship. He's accusing Yehoshua of idol worship. And when he brings up this equation of, Zau being equal to Zoa, which in Hebrew means excrement or shit. It's basically the Hebrew word for shit or excrement. He links this explicitly to the passage in Talmud Tractate Gittin, where it is said that YESHU is in boiling feces in Gehenna. So this is even more. This is probably the most explosive aspect of the entire passage, right? This is the most powerful, explosive aspect of the passage because we have the Baal Megaleh Amukoth here. One, he accuses explicitly Yehoshua of idol worship, and then he links this to YESHU in boiling feces in Gehenna. So he makes an explicit equation between Yehoshua and YESHU. And I would go as far as to say that he is hinting here, the great hint that he is providing here is that quintessentially, YESHU is a Gilgul of Yehoshua, and that we have aspects of Yehoshua's life reflecting great aspects of the life of YESHU. So he's making this very powerful implicit and explicit equation between Yehoshua and YESHU here. And this is the great proof that he was clearly a crypto-Christian, because who in the right mind, what Orthodox Jew in the right mind would be making such crazy, outlandish, such equations like this, But continue, Hadar.
Yeah. So what the Megaleh Amukoth wants to communicate is that he first creates here the equation that Joshua, first of all, Joshua typified Jesus, but also that Joshua does get into the land of Israel and Moses does not. Yeah, this is what is being told in the third chapter of Deuteronomy. So you already see here that there's moral ambivalence about Joshua's so-called idolatry. And I believe that the Megaleh Amukoth is also aware of that ambivalence or ambiguity concerning whether Joshua was committing a sin or whether the idolatry that he made of himself has a more holier implicit meaning and significance. Now, basically, so this is why the supposed evil connotations that the Megaleh Amukoth attribute to Joshua, which are excrement, soa, and unclean spirit, rochatom'ah, which equals respectively 102 and 280, those signs, significances, which on the literal level have evil meanings or refer to lowly or ungodly traits, their numerical value directs us to over connotations which hint at a holier implication, a holy nature that is implicated within those signs, which on the literal level are evil, but on the implicit level they encrypt the highest and holiest mysteries. Yeah, which is what I started saying about those numbers 102 and 282, which are very holy numbers, generally speaking. And also what is created here is an equivalence between the unclean spirit and encourage him and strengthen him, which equals unclean spirit 280. He creates an equation between that and what we could understand as the feet of the Hebrew alphabet, or the thighs of the Hebrew alphabet, that are the Mem, Tzadi, Nun, Pei, Chaf, which are the 5 final letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and they are considered to be at the thighs or the legs or the feet, the most exterior and most inferior level or layer of the Hebrew alphabet. But The feet, while they are the most exterior and inferior, their feet are the organs by which a man stands and walks. And standing and walking are signs or significances of uprightness and moral justification. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about that that passage in the Megaleh Amukoth.
Yeah, that's extremely powerful what you just said there, Hadar, because that is the proof of him quintessentially being a crypto Christian. Because what his whole method of operation is to first look at this profound this profound superficial evil aspect over Yehoshua, and then show how, despite all of this, Yehoshua is still a very powerful holy figure, so to speak, right? And by doing so, he can then, um, you know, he can sort of he can then sanctify YESHU. So what he's doing through his great genius, what he's doing is he's essentially, if you understand the mysteries that he's revealing, what he's doing quintessentially is sanctifying YESHU. That's what he's doing. He's sanctifying YESHU, which is very powerful. Now, what's really crazy is, like I said, this is beyond explosive, and it's like where are the leading scholars understanding and covering all of these things that I've been covering in my YouTube channel and on my blog? Well, they're nowhere to be found. They're not anywhere near my level, And so this is very explosive because I was doing some research and I was trying to find, is there any precedent? Is there any Jewish precedent, ancient Jewish precedent for accusing Yehoshua of idolatry? And I personally couldn't find any. I couldn't find any precedent for this. This is a hidush. This is a very crazy, powerful hidush from the Baal Megaleh Amukoth to sanctify YESHU. This is beyond explosive.
Yes.
But
Okay.
is that it, Hadar? Are we pretty much? Do you have anything more to say, or?
No, I think we said whatever needed to be said.
Okay, well, that concludes this short video. I hope everyone here, enjoyed, and very, very powerful, explosive material here. So with that said, Shalom Wassalam.